Let me just get this filtered properly so I can see all of your comments. Good morning, everyone. Come on in and don't forget to like the video. It's a busy Friday, got a lot going on, but I wanted to make sure that we did one of our casual lives. Good morning, good morning. Where's everyone watching from? Hey, Can't Be Bothered. I feel like I know can't. Well, I guess I do know you Can't Be Bothered. I met Can't Be Bothered in New York City, in the streets of New York City, not at one of the live shows. What's going on, everyone? Atlanta's in the house. Houston's in the house. Chicago. I didn't realize. Chicago. Here we go again. Oregon. What's going on? I got this from what was it? Walmart. They every once in a while Walmart will have like a random thing in regards to Dolly Parton. You know, I can never turn down Dolly Parton. Hey Janice, good morning, good morning. Oklahoma, Kansas, Florida, more Chicago, Dayton, Ohio. I'm doing well, Ebony. Thanks for asking. Colorado, Jersey, Cleveland, Las Vegas, Atlanta. I'm drinking it's not even tea, it's hot lemon water with chia seeds and lion's mane. Not my handsome ass. The UK's in the building, more Atlanta, Belgium, what's going on? Wisconsin, hey Mama Allie. Good morning, good morning. I have your mug. Is that Memphis? No, this is Amsterdam. I've had this mug for years. Hold on, let me turn it around. I've had this mug for years. It's from Starbucks in Amsterdam. We love you in Richmond, Virginia. Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you, Loretta. Northern California, what's going on? Maryland. And if you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let us know where you're watching from as well. I know this was not a scheduled live, but I wanted to come live because there were a few stories that I wanted to talk about this morning. But shout out to the replay crew as well. Shout out to our Apple subscription baddies. Pose for me. Yes, that shout out to our baddies that have joined our Apple subscriptions. More information on that, Mama Allie, if we can post the link to that in the live chat. Replay crew, I'll post the link in the description. But if you just Google Kempire on Apple Podcasts, the option for our new subscription, where I'm recapping The White Lotus, where I talked about the Trader season finale. I also dropped a little Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tea in the latest episode of The White Lotus. You just never know what I'm going to talk about in the episodes, but I did drop like an almost hour-long episode yesterday in regards to The White Lotus, but I do talk about Beverly Hills in there. So be sure to check that out. More information, again, is available on Apple Podcasts, okay? And even if you don't have an Apple product, you can go to the website and become a member. But shout out to those of you that have become members. I've also posted a link to the Discord that we've created. Mama Allie, you're a Royal Court guard, so you're already a part of that Discord. Just let me know if you have access to it. It's a separate channel just for the Apple Podcast baddies and our mods. Hey Zoe, what's going on? Yes, you need to watch The White Lotus. It's so good. It's picking up. Of course, I'll talk about The White Lotus briefly in other lives here, but I go at length. I go at length in the podcast. And like I said, I spilled some other tea, and that's where I will be talking about some other tea as well. Hey, Nita. Okay, so I do want. Thank you so much, DX Relto. I apologize. I apologize if I mispronounced that. I want to get to the tea, okay? But shout out to all of you for being here in the morning. I appreciate it. I had a couple of different stories that I want to talk about and share with you guys. So we'll first start off with some of the smaller topics. Nene Leakes. So a lot of you know that Nene Leakes has done a lot of things since her departure from the Real Housewives of Atlanta, and she has delved into the Zeus Network, done a lot of different things. But now, after the news of her coming to some sort of settlement in mediation with NBC Universal, Nene Leakes seems to be back in the good graces of NBC Universal. She's even doing their red carpets. She just did the red carpet for, well, the after show, not red carpets, but the after show for the Oscars for them. So she's in a good place with them. However, you know, season 16 of The Real Housewives of Atlanta was already underway after she settled, before she settled with NBC Universal. But it seems as if after she had her interview with Bethany Frankel, she was sort of like, I'm going to do this on my own. I think she saw what Bethany had amassed within the same time that she had amassed, you know, her popularity on Real Housewives. And she was sort of like, why does this woman who started with me have all of this? I mean, there's a variety of, she's made a lot of business deals, Bethany. But she saw that and she's like, I got to start doing something. And she did. She started going on her YouTube channel and doing these different lives and things like that. And then she stopped. Then she launched a new podcast. I don't know what's happening with that podcast. What is it? Me and My Homegirl or something like that. Okay. So she did that. You guys had your opinions on that. I've watched clips, not clips. I watched parts. Because when people say clips, it's sort of like you've seen a clip on social media. No, I've watched parts of the actual episodes. It's not for me. I think Nene probably needed someone that would balance out her energy. I don't feel like there's a balance in that energy. Very much like what I see on Cynthia Bailey and Crystal Minkoff's podcast. Okay? It's canceled. Look, I'm not surprised. It needed to be. But Nene just announced this week that she was going to be doing her own show, the Nene Leakes show. It premiered yesterday, did very well. I'm not surprised. People want to hear what Nene has to say. Her first guest were Carlos King. Not surprised. I was just happy that she didn't get herself in, at least I hope not, any sort of production contracts with Carlos to produce this show. But Carlos was her first guest. She also had Michelle A.T. Brown as sort of, I guess this is going to be a segment that she's going to have on her show where she's spilling tea. So I didn't watch it all, but I did see parts. I saw parts, okay? Kempire says, I subscribed and then unsubscribed when I see it was Michelle. Oh, come on. Let's not. Here's the thing. People still want to hear from Nene. The problem that I've found with Nene is that she's not consistent. I find that Nene will start something and she won't finish it. And I think it's because she's so used to just showing up, okay? Showing up and, you know, people doing things for her and the business being taken care of. Now she has to do that herself. So this is a show that she's created on YouTube. Anyone can really create a show. What I will give her is that it looks very professional. I like the graphics. I like the camera, the lighting. Everything is very professional looking. Hold on. I saw a comment that I wanted to see and read. SCP says, per funky, Nene and Ciara fell out. Are we surprised? Ciara did not show up to the set, so they was like, let's just make this the Nene Leakes show. So that's how the Nene Leakes show came to fruition. Well, am I surprised? I'm not. But either way, I didn't see that being a good mix for Nene. But that's crazy to me in regards to, but that's just confirmation for what I've said about Nene and how Nene makes bad business decisions. She's also not consistent. I hope in this new era that she will be consistent. But when they were talking, because I skipped around because I can't listen to Carlos. Y'all already know how. This is no offense to Carl. I just can't. His voice, I can't. I'm very sensitive to tones and voices and things. And it's not just him. There's a lot of, like, sometimes when I'm swiping through TikTok and there's just certain people's voices, I'm like, I can't. No, you might have great information, but me personally, I'm very, especially as I've gotten older, I can't. Like, I can't. So, but I did notice that that Nene, when talking, I believe when she was talking to Michelle, was talking about NBC and Michelle was talking about NBC, and she's like, don't talk about my NBCU family. And I was like, wait a minute. But she's working with them now. So I was sort of like, okay, Nene. So the door is not officially closed on Nene returning to NBC Universal. Bravo. Will she return to Real Housewives of Atlanta? I think this season for Atlanta is going to be critical. The other day we did a report talking about how the ratings for Atlanta, although in this era of streaming, were not bad. They were the lowest that the show has seen, but I'm not surprised by that, okay? Or the lowest in a long time the show has seen. The key thing to pay attention to was that they experienced a series low in their demographic, which is more important than live viewership. Bravo doesn't just look at the live viewership. It's the key demographic, though, of 18 to 49. That's the sweet spot for advertisers. And if they're seeing a series low in their demographic, that's not good. But this was only the first episode. I'm not going to sit here and tell you guys, oh my God, it's over for Real Housewives of Atlanta. It's not over for Real Housewives of Atlanta. What I will say, it's concerning, especially because people had interest because it's the premiere, there's the return of Portia, the return of the show. So there are some concerns, but we'll continue. But since we're talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, I did want to talk about Shamea Moangi. So a lot of people are saying Shamea is that girl, she's the star, she whatever. So last week it was Portia out there doing all the interviews. This week it is Shamea. And Shamea did an interview with Entertainment Tonight, and she talked about her falling out with Britt Edie. She also talks about the season. She also talks about Kenya Moore. So I want to play a clip for you guys. It's like a 4-minute clip from her interview with Entertainment Tonight.
Closest to in the circle.
Okay.
Who would you say you are closest to in the circle?
I would say Kelly.
Okay.
Kelly, I love Kelly.
I was gonna say her cookbook is sitting out over there. Is that
Yes.
always sitting there, or you put it out just for today? Okay.
Always sitting there, and I always use her 24K Nana chicken and waffle syrup. That was a free endorsement for you, girl.
On the flip side, is there anybody that you learned you could not trust in this circle?
Yes, unfortunately, I came into the circle liking Britt Edie, and now I'm just not a fan of hers at all.
Okay, yeah, because you and Kelly just went on the radio and said, that's our least favorite person in our group right now. What happens there to cause that switch?
Well, honestly, it's unfortunate because initially we were all really cool. And I think when Kelly and Britt had a little rift in their friendship, she kind of turned on me. And I'm like, I don't have a dog in the fight. I like you both the same. And then it was all this like, and I'm like, what did I do? I'm just.
Her energy did not match
Her
the
energy,
situation.
yeah, and then she, I feel like kids are off limits. She just kind of went there, and you'll see it later in the season. I mean, she went there about my youngest, Shiloh, and that's a really sensitive spot.
Boom, wait a minute. What? So according to Shamea, she's saying that Britt Edie, the same Britt Edie that got into it with Kenya Moore during the season, which led to the whole Kenya Moore situation, talked about her child? What? Wait, what?
I mean, she went there, and then she, I feel like kids are off limits. She just kind of went there, and you'll see it later in the season. I mean, she went there about my youngest, Shiloh, and that's a really sensitive spot for me. So I just felt like, I don't want to be associated. I don't want to be around, and it was too much for me.
Crossed the line.
Pause. So Britt Edie went on her Instagram story and said this: when the hate don't work, they start telling lies. They on a quote, #Brit press tour, coming to a city near you, hand heart emoji. That's what Britt Edie said on her social.
Okay.
To me.
We, of course, fans got to know Britt probably in a way she did not want to get known with the news that came out with everything that went down with Kenya.
So who is this hoe? Britt Edie is her name.
It couldn't go any lower.
She thinks this is okay?
That was Kenya's choice to twirl on down to hell. I don't think she came back out.
What do you want everyone to keep in mind as we head toward that episode and kind of the fallout from it?
You know, I did think that Kenya went too far with what she did. But at the end of the day, even with Britt, like, if God can forgive us, why can't I? I have a forgiving heart. I have an open heart to anybody that, you know, feels the same, you know?
I mean, with the way that Portia has treated Shamea over the years, she definitely has a forgiving heart. Why did the algorithm here on YouTube bring up Season 10, Episode 2, when Portia came up with every excuse in the book on why she could not fly to Shamea's wedding? Shamea, Portia has showed you who she is a long time ago. I'm shocked they're still friends.
And I just hope that we can all move forward in a very peaceful, harmonious, loving way.
So do you see a world where Kenya could re-enter this group?
I would be here for Kenya re-entering this group, absolutely. Kenya's added so much to the franchise. I would love for her to tour her little fine self back on over here. Absolutely.
We know that Phaedra comes...
But it makes me wonder if Shamea and Britt didn't have the falling out that they had, would she be saying this? Because she did say in another interview that when Kenya did what she did at her hair spa, she confronted Kenya about it, and Kenya gave her a lot of, you know, funk back, saying that it was wrong. So I wonder if she didn't have because remember in the first episode, Brittany and Shamea are like homegirls. They love each other, okay? Thank you so much, Sin, for the super chat. Yes, Kenya Moore is definitely needed. She was the only name trending on the X premiere night. To me, that says a lot, being that she had no confessionals and the least airtime. I mean, without a doubt, Sin. I mean, look, do I agree with what Kenya did? No. But I think the fact that Kenya's there, sort of like this ghost, and she's still bringing the shade, bringing literally the tea in Shamea's birthday party. It was sort of like she knows what to do, but I think because of her wanting to ensure or secure her position on the show, she went too far. She went too far. And we see that with so many different people that have been a part of the Real Housewives.
Near the end of the season, but snags a peach nonetheless.
Right, I'm like, oh, okay.
How did you feel about Frick and Frack having their reunion, and did Phaedra coming in then switch up the dynamics on all of you?
You know, I'm a girl's girl. I'm here for it. If Rick and Frack is what Portia needs or Phaedra needs, I'll support it. There's enough of Shamea to go around. I like to share my friendship amongst new people and old people. Like, the more the merrier, you know? I mean, I was shocked when she came back, but welcome. She came with some good energy. Her energy was...
Shamea said she was shocked when Phaedra came back. Do you think that because Kenya wasn't there, and because to me, when the fact that Phaedra comes back at the last 2 weeks of Real Housewives of Atlanta, if the show is doing fine during filming, there would be no reason to bring Phaedra back. So for me, that's also another telltale sign. Like, the fact that you guys are keeping in the Kenya stuff, which happened at the top of the season. Top of the season, that happened, like the first 3 weeks of filming. The fact that you kept that in, and it's still a storyline. And I know, the blogs and everyone has been talking about it. But the fact that you guys kept that in, and now at the end of the season, you're bringing in Phaedra, says to me, like, the girls didn't do what they were supposed to do during the season, because if they did, we wouldn't need any of it. Right? I'm just bringing up the clues. I don't know. I'm going to watch the season and see if it's true, but that's what it's giving.
It was when she and I last, worked together. So I welcome it. Like I said, you over it, I'm over it. Okay, cool. You know. You forgive, but you don't forget.
Forgive, don't forget. Do you feel like Phaedra has changed for the better?
I hope she has. I mean, again, she came in at the very end of the season, so I can't really speak too much. But yeah, I feel like she came in with a new, fun, inviting and warm energy. So I'm gonna just I'm gonna meet you where you are. You know, I'm gonna match your vibe. If you are giving me the good vibes, I'm gonna give you the good vibes and good energy. And until you do different, then, you know, we'll just operate in that.
All right, you know, I think she was ready to come running out of Married to Medicine and get back on the mothership. So, because those girls gave her.
I know. Oh my goodness. But you know, hey, that's her journey, and you know, hey, I have no comment on her and her journey over there.
Here's the thing. The other clue that something might be missing this season as to why they brought Phaedra on, we also have to keep in mind too, the situation with Portia. They signed up for Portia being married and living that life. Portia was supposed to be that girl of the season. It seems as if they leaned in more to Shamea because Shamea is actually married. That was also another hiccup the Real Housewives of Atlanta reboot had, was the fact that Portia was supposed to be able to film in her big, luxurious $7 million home. And no, we're back at Portia's original house that she gave to her mother. So there were a lot of hiccups they had this season. Okay. Neek says that Candy's going to do a cameo with Shamea next season. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Candy is Atlanta. But yeah, so that is your update on Real Housewives of Atlanta and what's going on over there. Just another update in regards to Real Housewives of Orange County. As you know, Real Housewives of Orange County are currently filming, and on their cast trip to New Orleans, Tamra Judge quit. So Tamra Judge on her podcast, I'm not going to even call it what I usually call it. You know what the podcast is called. I'm going to play a clip for you guys in regards to what Tamra had to say about quitting.
A lot. I know that, and if you want to talk about it, we'll talk. If you don't, you don't.
I think I just hit a wall. Like, there's so much going on in my life, and it just, I don't know. I mean, between therapy and Teddi and some other personal things I'm going through, I just hit a wall, and I just felt like, you know, I feel like I'm in a full depressed mode.
Well, then you have to listen to yourself and take a break, whatever that means. You're human. Like, people forget we're human, right?
Yeah.
We go through a lot of emotional roller coasters, besides in life, in the business, and then everybody hits a breaking point, don't they? And you've been doing this. When you told me the other day you were doing this for 14 years.
No, it's like, well, actually full blown 17 years.
That's so, some people don't last a season. Season, they don't.
I'm just so mad at myself because I feel like I just can't pull myself out of the funk. Well, and I'm usually pretty good at just pulling myself out, and I've been saying it, like, you know, for a while now. Like, I just can't pull myself out of this. I can't pull myself out of this. And it was just, 2025 just been a real doozy. It's just been one thing after another.
For everyone, yeah.
Yeah,
It's just been, here's the thing. I feel like when you care about someone, you love them with everything you have. And your Achilles heel is when somebody you love is going through something or hurt.
Yeah.
And I think that was your breaking point.
Yes.
I think everything with Teddi and watching what she's going through weighed very heavy on you. I haven't seen you once since this all happened that you weren't viscerally upset. Like, you really care.
Yeah.
And that says so much about you to me, because there's a lot of people that don't have the ability to love like that.
Yeah.
And care like that.
I went into the season not knowing, not sure, very anxious, and just dealing with some stuff through therapy. And, you know, that really breaks you down to your lowest point.
That's why I don't do therapy.
That's why I'm like, should I just quit?
Dolores.
Because it's just, I feel like it's breaking me down so hard. And then jumping into the show, and then Teddi, like, it's just a combination of so many different things. And
I don't think you should quit therapy, Tamra. You're there now.
I know.
Do it. It has, these things have to be addressed at some point. And it's almost like when you break the seal, you know?
Right. right? And I just feel like everything around me is starting to crumble, and I just couldn't take the extra pressure. So as of right now, I'm just not good. But Teddy gave me a pep talk, and that is like the first time I've laughed in so long. Like we laughed.
Mm-hmm.
And she just yelled at me and said, "Listen to me. If I have to be bald and fat right now and going through this, you get your ass back over there." And I just started laughing. So I think I'm going to see her today. So I think that's going to put a little bit of spark back into me. And
You
she's
need that, yeah.
such an inspiration. So I don't know. I don't know what I need. I don't know if I need to, go on medication or what, but I
need
just
Jesus.
need to pull it together.
For sure. And you will, however way you need to. But you know yourself. And we all know when that time comes in relationships and jobs. I don't see it. I think you still got a lot in you, Tamra. Everyone wants to see you back. Everybody. The talk on the town, the word on the street is you just need a little break.
Yeah, and when I get like this, my body just shuts down. It just completely shuts down. And I can just sit in one place and just stare at the wall for hours. And that's how I feel. And it's really hard to film like that when you feel like that.
Well,
Okay, I can't anymore. We listened long enough. The fact that her friend, look, shout out to all the caretakers that are having to be the support for people going through different illnesses and addictions and things like that. But there's a pattern of behavior, even recently, that we saw from Tamra Judge that is quite concerning in regards to her making things about herself, her doing things for theatrics and for television's sake, her lack of empathy for her friend Shannon going through the DUI and possible alcoholism. The fact that your friend that is dealing with brain cancer had to console you, girl, I can't. And when people were reporting that Tamra quit RHOC during the catch up, I said, no, she didn't. She'll be back. And please understand, she will be back. Okay? So, yeah. Speaking of Teddi also talks about the ordeal. So, again, if this is triggering to you, just a heads up.
Noticed when we were doing podcasts together, you were very short. You wanted to get through the rundown really quick. You didn't really want to chat about it. And I called you and I asked you, and you literally weren't even aware. You're like, what?
Yeah.
No,
I wasn't.
No.
I remember it's always very like patchy in my memory at this point. And then I was in I remember being in such extreme pain when we left for New Orleans.
I don't know how you pushed through that.
Like I could barely walk. I couldn't see every second that we weren't, filming. I would have to lay in the bed. I remember you were like, why don't you want to go out? Why don't you want to do this? Right. I didn't want to do anything. Like I was in extreme, excruciating pain in my head.
And you were taking Advil.
Yeah.
And was working. After we had a tight schedule. Like we landed, we got there, we started podcasting, we had guests, then we got glammed. And during Glam, you hit a wall and you're like, I don't want to do this. I want to do, and I'm like, what?
Yeah. I was like, I don't want to go to the party.
I don't want to do this. I want to do this. And I said, yeah, come on, you're going to do that.
Yeah.
And I was like, something's not right.
I would say I was so edgy. And what ended up coming out was we got through the weekend. We got through the weekend. We had fun. And then I got home and I went had plans with a friend. And that night I was like, I feel terrible. I don't know what to do. And then the next day I came, we did the podcast together. And then the next day, as we're starting the podcast, I start crying to you guys and I'm like, I can't do it today. I'm sorry.
I told you, I go, you need to go to the hospital. You need to go to the hospital.
Yeah.
And then Edwin took you to the hospital?
Yeah. So then I honestly didn't know what to do because clearly, everything in my life is upside down. And so I called my friend Val, actually, and I started like sobbing to her. And I'm like, I need you to take me to the hospital right now. I think I'm dying. I can't see. I can't walk. I can't even get out of bed.
Scary.
And she was like, I'm with another friend at a doctor's appointment. So then I called Edwin, and Edwin took me to the hospital. At this point, I still thought they were going to tell me, you have migraines, like you have severe migraines. Edwin had thought, because one of his best friends had a brain hemorrhage, he thought that might have been what it is. Because the part that's confusing to everybody is I didn't complain about a headache to anybody but my friend Nicole.
You, in New Orleans, you were telling me your head was hurting, but prior to that, I never heard a word about your head hurting.
But my head had been hurting for like 6 months. But I was like,
why did you ignore it?
I think because so much bad stuff was going on right then that I didn't want to face any of it. And I was like, I just need to keep moving forward. And if I keep moving forward, then everything's going to be fine.
Anywhere in you, did you think that something was really like the cancer had come back, or
no,
medically?
because I had just gone for my checkup. And so I had gone for my checkup already, and I was cleared, and it was the first time in 3 years that I didn't have any melanoma, skin melanoma.
Yeah, right.
So my skin check went well. Then Edwin takes me to the emergency room. He thinks it's a brain hemorrhage. We wait.
That makes sense, because you kept telling me while you're in the hospital that your brain was bleeding.
Yeah, like
I'm like, where is she getting this from?
Yeah. So, and then I think Edwin pushed for me to have a CT scan right away. And that's when they realized I have over 7 tumors. There was 4
that were removed.
4 but they weren't removed there. So there was 4 really large tumors that essentially, they said it's been happening for at least 6 months. And I didn't really understand what it meant. So we left. They took out my IVs. We left. We went to Cedars and then in Beverly Hills. And then it was all really a blur.
Well, it happened so fast.
Yeah.
It really did. Like the way you told me in the group, I think it was just, I don't know if it was just me or I was in the group text, but you said to me, you all thought I was mental, but actually I'm on my deathbed.
Yeah. Like I remember feeling like this is actually it.
Yeah. And I remember texting you back and said, no, you're not. Because if you're on yours, then I'm on mine, because I can't live without you.
I mean, it was really, really hard at Cedars. And I got there and the doctors immediately were able, I mean, this is incredible, but there was a doctor immediately able to give me, I had a craniotomy with tumor resection, which is where they removed 4 tumors from my brain. But the hardest part is that nobody wanted to tell me what was really happening because they were scared. And so I didn't know what was happening. Like, I thought I was fine. Like, I thought I could go home the next day. And like, once the tumors are out, I thought I would be done. I can't even tell you guys, like, I really didn't understand anything. And it was such a bummer. And then, honestly, it was like gangbusters. Every friend that I've had over the last 20 years.
I know, we've been high school friends.
They are my high school friends.
Wow.
I'm like, hey, I never heard about them.
My dad, my sister, my brother.
I got to meet your dad.
Yeah, gosh, he was a real...
Pause. How are you her best friend and you've never met Teddi Mellencamp's dad? This is the first time you're meeting Teddi Mellencamp's dad, John Mellencamp. Okay.
He looked at him, he's like, who are you?
He pretended he didn't know anybody's name, but he was really a godsend during this because I was wretched in the hospital. Wretched.
So that was Teddi Mellencamp talking about the ordeal that she's been going through. As you know, she was diagnosed with 7 tumors in her brain.
Notice when we were doing
And she had to have emergency surgery to remove 4 of those tumors. So we're going to continue to pray for Teddi, because look, and we're never going to be like, oh, we never said a bad thing about it. We have, okay? But when someone is going through what she's going through, all of that is not important. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you felt about somebody on a reality show or on a podcast, doesn't mean that you wish harm or ill health on them. So let's continue to send positive thoughts to Teddi. Shout out to her estranged husband, because remember, they were going through their drama, going through a divorce, and he showed up and has been by her side along with a bunch of her other friends. Since we're talking about the West Coast housewives, let's talk about the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. Because, and shout out to our friends over at Bravo Snarkside, I'm getting some of these audios from their Instagram, for those that want to kind of go back and watch. So the hairstylist, Chris Dillon, took to his TikTok to share some tea in regards to Dorit Kemsley not paying her bills. So you remember, and sidebar, they just put on pause. They canceled $1 Million Listing LA. So Tracy Tudor is the one who put this information out there that Dorit doesn't pay her people. Okay, we talked about that during our Beverly Hills recap. So now we have more to the story. So this is what the hairstylist Chris Dillon has to say about Dorit Kemsley.
Back in November, I was in New York City, and I was asked by Dorit if I could stay an extra 4 days to do her glam for Watch What Happens Live, as well as a photo shoot that she had taken place during her stay. Dorit offered to pay for my hotel room for the duration of our stay, which was 3 nights, 4 days. She offered to send over her credit card so I could extend my stay. However, the hotel we were staying at needed a credit card authorization form filled out since she wasn't there to do it in person. Here's our first text of the morning, and at the top you could see that I'm letting her know that I extend my stay till the 14th and that she would need to fill out the credit card authorization form in order for it to be processed. And then I also said if she just wanted to send me a photo of her credit card, I could do it myself to make it easier for her, not knowing that it would require a digital scan of her ID to be
So in the video, Chris shares screenshots of their text exchange. Good morning. Are you on your way to New York City? I'm meant to check out today, but have my room extended as I mentioned to the 14th. Can I send you a credit card authorization form so that you can fill out so they can extend my room? You can fill it out on your phone. Just need your CC info and a signature. Once signed, you just submit at the bottom. So you see that Dorit, allegedly I'll say, gives the thumbs up emojis to that text, then another thumbs up emoji to the text, or you can just send me a photo of your CC and full address it's attached to, and I can do it for you if that's easier. I don't know if I would want to do that, but maybe they're close enough to do that. Then you see her reply, morning, baby. I'm hearing her. Yes, send me that, or I can just call. Okay, sending you now.
into the website in order for it to be complete. She sent it over. I'm thanking her. I'm letting her know the breakdown. I'm also letting her know that I'm covering incidentals, obviously, and to make sure that she clicks the one-time use option. And I'm sending her the first credit card authorization form at the bottom. This is me sending the second credit card authorization and her submitting the first credit card authorization. This is Dorit just letting me know that she did submit the second credit card authorization form, and I'm just thanking her, and she's letting me know when she's gonna be in town the next morning so I can expect her. So that was it as far as the room situations goes. We ended up having, I thought, a really great trip. We had fun, we finished our work obligations, and I was out of New York City on my way to my next work gig. 3 days after being in Miami, I did indeed get a room charge for the 3 nights that I was in New York with Dorit. So I phoned the hotel just to ask them what was going on, and they let me know that the card on file could not have been processed. So my card, being the secondary card for incidentals, was indeed charged. I just chalked this up to maybe her card got declined due to a fraud alert, maybe because I would assume that she was putting her card down for her room as well, and maybe both charges for the same room and the same stay flagged something, and I just added it to my invoice along with reimbursement for her extensions and the services rendered during the trip to New York. I had this sent over to her accountant just like I always do, and then when December came, I submitted a second invoice for the jobs rendered in December that I worked with Dorit. Simultaneously, I was still working with Dorit. We actually went on a work trip to Utah. We were chatting every few days. We were working together weekly. And I was also chatting with her accountant, trying to get updates of when I'd be paid, and she was letting me know that she was waiting for Miss Kemsley to give her the okay to disperse payment. Cut to about 3 weeks ago when I finally just reached out to Dorit on my own, and I just said, hey babe, can you simply just ask your accountant or your office to release payment to me, because it's almost been 4 months now and I still have outstanding invoices for all the services provided as well as reimbursements. And this is when Dorit told me that she had a huge issue with my invoice, and she knew it immediately the second that she received my invoice, and apologized for not bringing it to my attention sooner. Dorit and I jumped on a call for 30 or 20 minutes. I happened to be at Tracy Tudor's house, so she was my witness to the call. She heard the whole thing, and Dorit basically...
Tracy Tudor is the one from $1 Million Listing, which was just recently put on pause. Now everyone's saying, bring Tracy on Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. That might be part of the reason why Tracy's even speaking up now. I hate thirsty people. But regardless, she's bringing the tea. So Tracy was there during this conversation.
Gave me the runaround, berated me, gaslit me, let me know that she thought that I was lying about everything. It was basically my word against hers, which that's how it goes when stuff is not in writing. I totally understand that now. And even went to the point of asking me if I was coherent or right in the head, and ended the phone call by saying that my balance will be paid in full and that we would never be working together again, and hung up on me. I think after hearing that conversation and seeing how shaken up I was about it, this is when Tracy Tudor stepped in and felt like she was compelled to defend me when she went onto a radio show and discussed Dorit and her non-payment. Last week was the last time that we spoke together. It was a text from Dorit saying that her credit card was indeed charged for my room charges, and she sent me the bank statements of them being processed on December 9th. I then immediately went to my Amex account and I saw that the room charge that I had been charged was deleted and removed from my statement.
Okay.
So I immediately sent a sincere apology. You guys could read it right here, and sent her updated.
So the apology reads this: my apologies for that charge. I never went back and looked, and just as you sent this and I read it, I went back to check my charges on my Amex, and you are correct. The room charge is gone from my statement, so they must have realized that they charged my card on accident instead of the card you gave them when you filled out the credit card authorization form for my room, the 11th to the 14th. I have never called them once, so nothing was done without your permission. Okay.
Misunderstanding. The room charge immediately. This is when Dorit keeps going on and on, saying that I used her card without her permission, and that I called the hotel myself and I demanded that they remove the charge from my card and charge her card without her permission. I would never do that. I have such a great relationship with this specific hotel. I know them so well. I just would simply never do that. And during this moment, I thought that I still had the charge on my account, which is why it was still on my invoice. I didn't know this until it was brought to my attention. Had she brought this up 4 months ago when she...
Because honestly, when you think about it, if the hotel told you that they charged your card because the other card was declined, why would you think to go back to think that they charged the right card? Unless the other person goes and looks like, well, let me double check that they didn't charge my card too, or double charged us. So this sounds like a big misunderstanding, but it got ugly because of the way that Dorit responded.
Found out and had the big issue with it, I would have immediately taken care of it and taken it off of my invoice and submitted a new one. Here's our final text where I just finally backed down and just wrote out simply everything that was owed. I even took another $1,000 off of a day rate that she said that she never agreed to and that I inflated. And I just, at this point, wanted to get paid for something because it felt like I wasn't going to get paid and it was just going to be a continuous back and forth. At the end of the day, this is also my livelihood. You know, I have a family to take care of. I have bills to pay. I was waiting months on end to be paid, and I was giving her grace by allowing her to just keep procrastinating, and I wasn't getting anything in return. She said to send it to her office, and that's what I did, expecting to be paid within 24 hours, 2 days later. So again, as I said in the beginning, I'm not one to come on social media and bring something like this to light, but I felt like I had no other way to just share my side of the story after being dragged on TV by Dorit. And I just think that us as Glam people really need to stick together and share our stories with each other, because I know that I'm not the first service provider that something like this has happened to, or that has been late on payments with specific clients. And I don't think that it's fair. We all are making a living and supporting our families and, you know, just out here trying to not only do a good job and make our clients look good, but do a great job in life and be successful just like we are intended to be. When it comes down to it, I would never steal anyone's card. I would never use it without their permission. I would never.
And that's a big accusation, because that could hurt Chris Dillon's career in the business. If you go on a public platform, she talked about this on Watch What Happens Live, and you make it seem like this person is not someone you want to work with, that could ruin his opportunities. That could ruin his name.
Try to double charge. And most importantly, I would never bully somebody into trying to pay an invoice that I did not think was right. I was so taken aback by that comment, and the word bully just really set me over the edge, because that's simply just not me. And I am hurt by the situation, but I have a lot of clarity, and I will definitely move differently forward. And I hope that this inspires all of you too as well. So thanks for listening. I know it was a lot, but I just wanted to clear the air, and the only way I felt possible to do that was to provide specific receipts and just explain the situation as it went down, since I wasn't there to defend myself.
Rightfully so, because like I said, if she didn't address it the way that she addressed it on Watch What Happens Live, I'd be like, oh, okay, here we go. But yeah, this is not good for Chris Dillon's business, and how other people might not work with him because of what she said. Okay. All right. Moving on from there. Did you guys see what her name? What's her name? What's her name? Mia be lying. Apparently she is back with ink. I can tell you this right now, because she posted on did she post it on her page? Let me just double check, y'all. And for those that are just joining us, don't forget to like the video. It's easy, it's free. And don't forget, today's live is brought to you by our friends over at Butter. My skincare routine has been rejuvenized with our friends over at Butter. I talk more about it in a separate video. You can find it on my TikTok. You can find it on my Instagram. You can also find it here on my YouTube in regards to my whole Butter skincare routine. So be sure to check out the description on how you can get 10% off of their products. I love their silky soft towels. That is a game changer for those that are trying to create a skincare routine. Stop using your towels that you use on your hands and your body on your face. You should have separate towels. Disposable towels are probably the easiest ones, and they're such quality towels. Back to Mia. So Mia posted yesterday, I think yesterday or the day before, that big news, y'all. I'm hitting the airwaves this Friday with my bestie, Ink. I'm syndicated, baby. Hey, Houston, Dallas, Baltimore, Atlanta, get ready. We're coming in hot. Let's go. This comes after she talked about the Real Housewives of Atlanta and talking about their premiere. And a lot of people thought, based on what she said, is Mia trying to vie to be a part of the Real Housewives of Atlanta? You remember during the reunion, Giselle says, you don't even live in Maryland. You don't even live in the DMV. You're in Atlanta. She's like, I'm back. I go back and forth. I go back and forth. I don't know what you're talking about. I don't want to see her on Real Housewives of Atlanta, even though she would fit more in with those girls. If we're being honest, she would fit more in with those girls. But I'm kind of over this. Are we surprised? I know Gordon's probably having a hissy fit, the fact that she's on social media cuddled up with her bestie. Okay, girl. Damn, they are dragging her in her own comments. Someone says, Mia be lying, constantly proving the ladies and everyone, quote, right. Someone else says in the comment section, girl, all you do is damn lie. In her own comments, this is on her own page, people are dragging her. Someone else says, it's exhausting. Someone else says, I hope you don't return next season or on any other franchise. They're dragging her in her own comment section. I guess she doesn't mind. Any attention is worth it for her? Maybe. All right. Mama Ellie, I don't know if you were keeping the timestamps, but it would be greatly appreciated because we are talking about a bunch of different things. And shout out to the replay crew. I am going to get to the final part of our Hot Topics section, and that is our pop culture stuff that, you know, for those that are new to the channel, we don't just talk about housewives here. We just had a lot of housewives conversation to talk about. This is a casual live. I'm not in the studio. I'm in my apartment, and I wanted to give you guys an update on this Friday morning in regards to what's going on. Wendy Williams is set to be on The View this morning. It probably is airing right now. We'll talk about that at another time, but I did want to give you another update if you missed the video that I posted yesterday that Wendy Williams spoke to the paparazzi in regards to her adult living facility. Mind you, when they were in front of it, I was like, oh, this is the coterie? I was like, oh, this does look a little fancy, but she's paying the upwards of like $40,000 to $50,000 a month that she doesn't want. She doesn't want to be there. This interview with the paparazzi came after the news that the adult living facility had called they had called the police and filed a police report against Alex Finney, Wendy Williams' niece. This comes after the attorney for Sabrina Morrissey, Wendy Williams' guardian, this is a mouthful, that's why I had to think about it, said to TMZ that Wendy can come and go as she pleases at this adult living facility. Apparently not. Take a listen to what Wendy said to the paparazzi and her niece after coming back from dinner.
How do you?
This is my niece, Alex.
Okay. How do you feel about the Free Wendy movement?
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
So, our recent events have been unbelievable. Talk about
Came back from dinner, and apparently police were called. But I was told that at some point, police were called because the coterie here was saying allegedly that I took my aunt from this facility and whisked her.
Wendy smiled when she accidentally called her mom. And I've said to you this before she had any children, she's always been super close with her niece, Alex Finney. I do believe Wendy does look to Alex like the daughter she never had. Because remember, she has her son, but she's also had multiple miscarriages. And I believe, if not one or two of them were girls.
Without any sort of confirmation or approval, which according to everything that we have learned in terms of this whole situation, wondering exactly how that correlates with the statements that the guardian has made that Wendy is able to come and go as she pleases,
Right.
and that there are no family visits that are blocked.
Clearly, they are lying to me when they say I can go out and do what I want to do. This is my niece, Alex. She just flew in from Miami, okay? I just came from the hospital. So we are going out to celebrate. You know what I'm saying? Celebrate what? I don't know. I'm from the hospital. You know what I'm saying? And of life. Right. And this is what has been done to us.
We're good.
We're good.
We're back in one
I'm
piece.
glad to hear. Take care.
These people.
So here's the thing. Is Wendy Williams 100%? I saw someone said that Wendy said on The View that she's 100% alcohol free. Wendy's issues, definitely, there are some health issues. There are some addiction things. We saw that from the Where is Wendy Williams documentary. But does Wendy Williams have frontal temporal dementia? which is a degenerative disease. She was diagnosed with this a couple of years ago. My thing is, if that was true, Wendy would not be able to do the amount of interviews and talk about the things that she's been able to talk about. Do I think that Wendy has some other issues going? Yes. But Wendy does not want to be in a conservatorship, guardianship. The conservatorship, guardianship, shout out to Emily D. Baker. She taught us that in California, they call it a conservatorship. In New York, they call it a guardianship. It's pretty much the same thing. Okay? We all know that this guardianship here in New York was initiated after her Wells Fargo accounts were frozen. It initiated all of the guardianship and everything that we're seeing right now. Okay. Let me see something. Hold on. SC says TVD just reported on IG RHOP is delayed and no one has received an offer letter. They were supposed to start filming Potomac at the end of this month. I'm sure they're trying to figure out their cast at this particular point. I'm putting RHOP on pause because right now, all of this person's coming, that person's coming. We're not going to know much of anything. So once we start seeing people filming, we'll talk more about it. Okay, so back to Wendy Williams. So Wendy, like I said before, or at least while we're live now, has done an interview with the View, but this was her first on-camera interview in years. So for those that missed it, I did post a separate video talking about it here on YouTube, okay? So we're gonna continue to follow this story because I just feel like there's just more and more coming out. I think the fact that we're putting public pressure on the guardianship and the court that something needs to be done. I think Wendy probably needs a lot of support. What she doesn't need is to be holed up in this quote luxury prison without her family having access to her. Okay? She does not need to be under a guardianship. The guardian claims that she hasn't been paid by Wendy since 2022. I don't know if I believe that. She said she's been paid in the upwards of $30,000 since then. Oh, I don't believe that. But I also believe that the Guardian is suing Lifetime and A&E for the documentary. Wendy's paying for that. Every time Wendy has to go to court, Wendy's paying for that. And this is being initiated by the Guardian. And this is what they do. This is what we learned from the documentary, that these guardianships drain these accounts with all this litigation. And I'm sure, even if it is true that the Guardian's not being paid, allegedly, I wouldn't be surprised that once Wendy's out of the guardianship, Wendy's going to receive a huge bill from the Guardian saying that I was not paid from this time to this time. This is what you owe me. That's crazy and scary. So that's your Wendy Williams update. I have to talk about Diddy because that is what the title of this video says. So Diddy. I believe Diddy goes to court today. Okay. And Diddy is trying to have, but we knew he was trying to do this. He's trying to have the Cassie video. You remember the Cassie video where you see him harming Cassie in the now closed Intercontinental Hotel. We see the footage. We see him running down the hallway in a towel. We see him hit her, kick her while she's down, okay? I believe she also talked about this in her lawsuit. But it was CNN that got their hands on the video. So Diddy would like for this video to be thrown out. Okay? So let me just give you an update in regards to what's happening today with Diddy. So Sean Diddy Combs is expected to appear in court Friday in one of the last hearings before his trial is set to begin, which is set to begin in May. Authorities arrested the embattled hip-hop mogul in September on federal charges of racketeering, trafficking, and transportation to engage in ladies of the night. Well, men of the night for him. A pretrial conference scheduled for Friday afternoon in Manhattan Federal Court will see Combs' legal team and prosecutors dispute various aspects of the rapper's trial, including jury selection, submitted evidence, and the trial's court timeline. Combs is also expected to be arraigned in court on a new indictment, which added accusations that the hip-hop mogul forced employees to work long hours and threatened to punish those who did not assist in his 2-decade trafficking scheme. This might be all stemming from what we saw in the, Max documentary that they did on Diddy? Because one of his former employees talked about how he was told to to prepare these freak-off situations. The trial, slated to start May 5th, comes more than a year after a civil lawsuit filed by Combs' ex-girlfriend, Cassie Ventura, alleging sex trafficking and physical abuse, opened the floodgates to dozens of damning civil complaints, accusing the Bad Boy Records founder of various SA over the course of of his 3-decade career. So they explained the charges and things like that as well. We've kind of gone through that. We've had Stephanie St. Aubin here from Allegedly Stephanie here on YouTube break down a lot of these things. So just Google Schmoogle our collaboration so you can see some of what she's talked about. They do tell us that earlier this month, prosecutors submitted a second superseding indictment, updating the amended indictment from January that added 3 unnamed women who were allegedly victims of his so-called trafficking enterprise, which claims Combs subjected employees to forced labor under inhumane circumstances. Okay. So they explain what will happen at Diddy's court hearing today. The U.S. District Judge, I am not going to mispronounce his name, Judge Aaron, we'll say, is expected to ask Combs for his plea to the revised indictment. Ahead of Friday's pretrial conference, Combs' attorneys and prosecutors outlined a series of trial logistics for the judge's review, according to a letter obtained Thursday by U.S. Today. The legal items range from jury selection process to discovery obligations. Regarding jury selection, the prosecution is requesting the selection process begin April 21st to avoid extending the trial's run beyond July 4th, which could create unnecessary additional challenges in seating a jury. Combs' legal team is requesting a two-part start date on May 5th and May 6th, arguing an earlier date would substantially prejudice the defense. Okay. Additionally, the defense is asking the court to subject prospective jurors to a written questionnaire in order to eliminate potential juror bias and ensure a fair trial. Don't send that to me. I am already biased. Sorry. Prosecutors, in an effort to streamline jury selection, are suggesting in-person oral questioning of juror candidates. When it comes to the discovery process, during which various facts and documents in the case are disclosed by all parties, prosecutors argue that Combs and his legal team have failed to produce any discovery materials and should be ordered by the court to comply. However, the defense said it plans on submitting some case evidence during the pretrial conference, noting an alleged subpoena response from CNN that details its publication of hotel surveillance footage of Combs and Ventura from 2016 incident. The scheduling of the case's final pretrial conference is also under dispute. Prosecutors are requesting the conference take place the week of April 14th. After the briefing deadline for parties' pretrial motions has passed, Combs' legal team prefers a conference window during the week of April 28th, as this comes after the final pretrial filing deadline on April 25th. Okay, I want to go over what we were just reporting in regards to the video footage. Because Diddy's legal team, which we've talked about if you've been following our coverage of the Diddy of it all, is that they don't want this video footage of Diddy harming Cassie a part of this case. They're claiming that the video footage that CNN has was altered. So according to our friends over at US Today, the Sean Diddy Combs lawyers are coming forward with a new bombshell allegations about a nearly decade-old video showing the music mogul physically assaulting ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, which plays a role in his upcoming criminal trial. In a joint letter to the judge from Combs' defense team and prosecutors reviewed by US Today, Combs' lawyers said that they subpoenaed CNN, which last May made public the footage of Combs physically assaulting Cassie at a Los Angeles hotel on March 5th, 2016. The news organization provided copies of the hotel surveillance footage to the defense, according to the letter. But Combs' team claims, quote, a forensic video analysis of the CNN footage, end quote, showed it was, beginning quote, substantially altered in significant respects. They're saying that the video footage of Sean Diddy Combs harming Cassie at the Intercontinental Hotel, March 5th of 2016, was altered. CNN, Combs' lawyers allege, covered the timestamp in the footage and sped up the video to, quote, make it falsely appear that the actions in the video are taking place faster than they are. They also allege CNN purchased the only known copy of the hotel surveillance footage, uploaded that footage into a free editing software, altered the video, and then destroyed the original footage. As such, the defense will request that for the footage to be excluded from evidence presented to the jury in the upcoming trial. Combs previously acknowledged his violent actions in the footage, claiming full responsibility in a video he posted last year, while his lead attorney characterized the clips as evidence of toxicity and drug use in the 10-year relationship, rather than as trafficking as prosecutors claim. So let's play that video footage. Here it is. Let's play that video footage. Hold on.
It's so difficult to reflect on the darkest times in your life. Sometimes you gotta do that. I was up. I mean, I hit rock bottom, but I make no excuses. My behavior on that video is inexcusable. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted.
I wonder if that portion of this video, the apology, he takes full responsibility for his actions in that video.
Responsibility for my actions in that video. I take full responsibility for my actions in that video. I'm disgusted. I was disgusted then when I did it. I'm disgusted now. I went and I sought out professional help. Now they're going to therapy. I'm going to rehab. Had asked God for his mercy and grace. I'm so sorry. But I'm committed to be a better man each and every day. I'm not asking for forgiveness. I'm truly sorry.
So they're now claiming that that video footage was altered and sped up. Okay, sped up. So how does that change the fact of what you're doing in the video? You literally see him grabbing her, throwing her to the ground, kicking her while she's on the ground. And that is one incident that we've seen. If you read Cassie's lawsuit, then you know in the lawsuit, Cassie, I mean, I understand why they put a trigger warning on the lawsuit. If you read that, you know that there was a lot that she left out, but what was already in there was enough. And this video just confirmed everything that you read in her lawsuit that he settled less than 24 hours later after she filed it. And they talk about how they were in discussions with Cassie months before she filed her lawsuit. Yeah, because she said, you guys don't think I'm going to file this lawsuit. So settle now or I'm filing this lawsuit. And I know there will be the Cassie haters and the Cassie, the distractors that feel like, she took the money, so she's just as guilty. The money that Cassie is getting from, mind you, if you look at the lawsuit, she's suing as an employee, saying that this is money that she would have made if he had not stalled her career. And he stalled her career intentionally. Why allow her to gain fame and popularity? That means that she would be able to have her own. So, exactly. Mia Moore says, why would CNN risk credibility to alter the tape? We saw it. They could spend, unless it's AI, unless it's artificial intelligence, where nowadays, which is scary, where you can create stuff like that. You're not saying that it's artificial. You're not saying that what's in it didn't play out. What you're trying to say is that this was a couple that was going through things and they were on drugs and blah, 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 and that they sped it up. Yeah, they sped up your actions. Still your actions. But I'm not surprised by this. They're trying to have that removed because that is harsh evidence against him. He says AI would have been a better excuse, but you would have to prove that could be easily disproven that this is AI. Anyway, so that is, I think, all of the things that I wanted to discuss this morning. If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know your thoughts and opinions on everything that we discussed. I'm going to round this out with Q&A. So if you guys have questions or comments that you want me to address, we will do that now. But at 12 p.m., I will be getting off of here. I appreciate you all being a part of this sort of morning tea that we've talked about. We talked a lot of housewife stuff at the beginning, and now we gave you a little pop culture at the end, but you get a mix of all of that here on the channel. So if you're not subscribed, subscribe, and subscribe to the Kempire podcast as well, because we give you different content there. And we just launched our special Apple subscription segment on Apple. You can subscribe today. We've already dropped like 5 episodes already, and we just launched it like a week ago. So be sure to subscribe. We also have provided a Discord group. So join the Discord group for those that have subscribed. So we can continue the conversation of what I'm talking about. This episode, because we talk about the White Lotus, we talked about the traders, but we're also going to be spilling tea. I spilled a little tea in this new episode. So be sure to check that out as well. And I extended the trial for those, because the trial had ended yesterday, but I said I'm going to extend it one more week for those that want to try it out. So I did extend a free 3-day trial for those that want to give it a try. You have 5 episodes to listen to this weekend. Okay. All right. And don't forget to like the video, guys. Thank you so much already for 300 likes. And if you're a part of the replay crew, be sure to let me know where you're watching from, your thoughts and opinions on everything that we discussed. Doreen says, Kempire, did you see that TV Deets is saying that RHOP season 10 filming is on pause? Doreen, we just have responded to that a little bit earlier. You may have missed it. Someone else said it in the chat, so I didn't see it before this live. I'm not surprised. They're probably still trying to figure out the direction for the season. They're probably finalizing people's contracts and whatnot. And they're probably figuring out who do we want to work with next season. We've caught Stacey in a lie. What is Stacey's direction this season? She settled her divorce. She no longer has TJ. So what exactly is she going to talk about this season? Kay sort of was lukewarm for a lot of people this season. Is Candace going to come back? It seemed as if they were hinting at that when Wendy and Candace posted that picture together. Maybe. So they're probably trying to figure out their direction, especially now with Karen being in jail. They did not expect Karen to be in jail like this. They knew it was an option, but they didn't expect, I think. So they're trying to figure that out. And do they move forward without Karen or not? And based on what people have said, Just Jewel says that Wendy Williams did really good on The View. I'm sure she's been doing good in all these interviews. Okay. You're welcome, Cass. Cass says, yay, thanks for extending the trial for our Apple subscription. I may have missed that my internet is lagging today. It's okay, Doreen. It's all right. This is the Q&A. This is where we're answering the questions. So they're probably trying to figure out the direction for the new season of Potomac. Any other questions? I may have missed some of your questions. Let me just double check if I missed any of your questions. Thank you, Poppy, for being here. I didn't see any other questions. Let me just go back down. Thank you, Winter. Winter says your voice is soothing on the podcast, Kempire. Thank you. You're welcome. Watson AR says, thank you for extending the trial. Yeah, so let me give you guys more opportunities. 5 new episodes. And again, right now we're recapping the White Lotus, and I did also talk about the traders, but this will sort of be, and it's a really, I think inexpensive opportunity to get something different than what we do here. And like I said, you just never know what I'm going to spill there. So be sure to check that out. I'm still figuring out what I'm going to do with the video versions of these podcasts, because I am recording video for these podcast episodes. So I probably will drop the traders for a public view, but members of our YouTube, I probably will drop some of the visuals for our member members, meaning our royal court members and above, because those are the equivalent of what we have on the Apple subscription. But no guarantees. I have to figure that out. But even if I do, you're not going to get it at the same time as our Apple subscription baddies. All right, question. L. Singleton says, some people suspect Dawn Robinson posted that living in the car message for publicity for her podcast. What do you think? I wouldn't be surprised, but is she really living in her car? It seems like she really is living in her car. But she doesn't seem to have a problem with it. Speaking of which, someone in the comment section on the post, well, not that post, but on the post tab, says, why are you reporting on Dawn living in her car? Blah, 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 blah. Because Dawn posted on her YouTube channel that she's living in her car. Okay? This is my job. I don't know what you do, but my job is to report on what's going on in these streets. And Dawn Robinson is a part of pop culture. And she made it public that she's living in her car. So I'm going to talk about it. And if you watch the video, it's not as sad as it sounds. She seems like she's okay with it. Yes, this is a Dolly shirt. This is Dolly Parton. I have a couple of Dolly shirts. I said, let me put this on today. I feel like I want to celebrate Dolly. Winter says, by the way, on the White Lotus recaps episode 4, I appreciate all the love about the Aries women Kempire. Oh, I need to, maybe on the Discord, for those that joined the Discord, Foxy, you should have access to the special Discord for our Apple subscription baddies as well, because you're a mod there. Theo, I don't know if Theo's still here. You should have access to. Let me know if the mods don't. So I created that yesterday so we can have conversation there about what I discussed in regards to White Lotus. But like I said, the Apple subscription is not just going to be White Lotus, but that's where I'm talking about it exclusively. I bet you won't says, hi, I'm coming to New York City on April 11th. Any suggestions on what to do while I'm there, please? Oh my gosh, I always hate that question because there's just so much to do. If you want to see the Statue of Liberty, if you want to be touristy and you want to see the Statue of Liberty, don't pay to go see it. Get on the Staten Island ferry. It's free. You can even go to Staten Island on that ferry, and right off the ferry is shopping. It's the only outlet shopping that's in New York City. And then get back on the ferry, again, free, and get back to Lower Manhattan. There's a lot to walk around and see and do. When it comes to eating in New York City, I feel like there's just so much. It's hard to even say, you need to do this, you need to do that. But don't go to the touristy spots. Don't spend your time in Times Square. The only touristy thing that I would suggest doing is taking the Staten Island ferry to see the Statue of Liberty. If you want, because I feel like that's the best angle to get a photo anyway. But that's me. And again, it's free. But in regards to food, go to Brooklyn, go to Harlem, because then you're kind of getting out of the touristy spots, and you can find, just Google a lot of like low-key spots of places to eat in New York. Keith says, lived in New York City almost all my life and never been to the Statue of Liberty. I've never been to the Statue of Liberty, but because I used to live in Staten Island, I used to see it all the time. Melba's in Harlem, but you can technically now get Melba's food at Grand Central Station because they just opened up a booth there. So just in case you don't make it to Harlem, but you should make it to Harlem because that is a part of the culture of New York City. Make it to Brooklyn too. Yeah, so much good food in Brooklyn. Just so many options too. But Harlem too. Visit the Edge or the top of the Empire State. Visit Bryant Park, Central Park, and the Vessel area. I mean, if you want to see those things, you can. I don't think it's if you left New York that you would have missed anything if you didn't, because a lot of New Yorkers don't visit those things. Just saying. Winter says the Harlem location is closed. I walked past yesterday. You mean closed at the time you walked past or indefinitely? They literally just opened their Grand Central Station. Well, go to Grand Central Station because they're open. My friend just went there. Hey, Chef Lorraine, we talked at the top of this, so you might have to rewind back. We did talk at the top of this about Nene Leakes' podcast, her new podcast. Word on the street, according to Funky, is that Sierra and Nene had a falling out, and she didn't show up one day, Sierra, and that's when me and my homegirl podcast turned into this. It should have been this anyway, okay? Let's just pray that Nene stays consistent. That seems to be Nene's main issue, is staying consistent. I hope you guys enjoyed this. Okay, a couple more questions. I'm gonna get off of here at noon, so we have a couple more minutes. I'm here in New York City. This is where I live. Every time someone sees me, they're like, "You live in New York?" Yes. Miss Barker Hayes says, "How late am I?" We've been live for 80 minutes. I did see Vanna just joining us. Vanna, I just played at the top of this, probably like 60 minutes ago, Shamea's interview, and we talked about that. Is Junior's Cheesecake still a thing, y'all? Because it used to be a thing back in the day. I love cheesecake. I haven't had it, but you can get Junior's Cheesecake in a bunch of places in New York. But is it still a thing? Oh, thank you, Can't Be Bothered, who I saw in Harlem when I was looking at condos and whatnot, says that, yeah, I live in Harlem and Melba is closed. Why is it closed? What in the candy burst is going on? And they just opened their location at Grand Central Station. Oh, see, Winter said you could get Junior's Cheesecake at C-Town. So I'm sure you can get it somewhere else. I haven't seen it. The thing is, I've seen it in places and I can't remember. That's not the store. No, don't go to Magnolia Bake. Okay, you can if you really want to, but if there's a line, don't wait. I don't think it's worth waiting online for. But I don't think there's lines anymore like there used to be back in the day. I hate it. I had their cupcake years ago and I said never again, but I do like their banana pudding. I just had that the other day. Unfortunately, I didn't get notified of this. Oh, sorry, Deborah. I don't know. It also was a last minute live. But shout out to the replay crew. Donna says, I just made a blueberry cheesecake with the Philadelphia no-bake cheesecake. So easy, yum. I love a good cheesecake. Wait, did you guys say the Junior's Cheesecake is still good or not? Marquis says, Kempire, after watching the first episode of RHOA, it seems Kenya and Britt didn't get along from day one. Yeah, I mean, yeah. And we talked a little bit about that. It's like, but it also felt like there was an issue even before then. So it was sort of weird. Like, did y'all know each other before this? I went to Junior's when I was in New York City last summer. The cheesecake was okay. See, Tina? But also, Tina, you're from the South, so I can understand where you're like, Melba's, yes, is in Grand Central Station. However, does that mean the one in Harlem is closed? Like, what's going on in the one in Harlem? That's the originator. The original, the OG. I didn't even know that. But I'm not always going. I don't go to the restaurants like that. But I guess for those that are coming to New York, go to Melba's at Grand Central Station because the one in Harlem. But still go to Harlem. You never know. By the time you get here, it might be back open. Is there a notice on the door? Can't be bothered. When will it be open? Thank you so much, Sandra. Getting cheesecake tonight for my boyfriend's birthday. From where? From Junior's? Melba is Sherry Shepherd's cousin. Is she? When exactly do they start filming? Because they are showing us footage from 3 months before on RHOA episode 1. Oh, that is such a good point that I forgot to talk about during my RHOA recap. I was like, how long are you guys filming? Why are we showing footage from like 3 months before this? Did you guys notice that? I was like, wait a minute. Something's off. Thank you, Marquis. I was like, wait a minute. What? 3 months before? That's why I'm suspicious as to there may have been an issue between Kenya and Britt before. Because if we're talking about 3 months before the Shamea's birthday party, something's off with the timeline. They didn't film for a year, but they did film for like their usual 3 months, 4 months. And they were filming a lot of their confessionals recently. See, Millie says, I didn't even notice. I meant to mention it, but I forgot. You know, we had so much to talk about in regards to Real Housewives of Atlanta during our recap. It was hard to remember everything, but I'm so glad you brought that up because I thought the same thing. I was like, wait, 3 months before, and this is the premiere episode? Sherry Shepherd is from Chicago, and people are asleep on Chicago. No, Chicago food? No. Chicago food is one. I mean, I'm not going to say it's better than New York or anything like that, but no, Chicago's food. Like, if you're going to Chicago, you should be eating. I need to go to Chicago because apparently y'all, if you're watching the replay of this and you're from Chicago, let us know because apparently Chicago goes hard for us. Right, Bajillion says this didn't feel like this was the first time that everyone met. Yeah, something was suspicious. Donna says Chicago food is on point. We're going to lunch at the Cheesecake Factory. I'm getting dressed while watching this live. I haven't been to the Cheesecake Factory in a long time, too. King Jones says better than New York. Okay, King Jones. I do have a glass bottle. You want to fight? You want to fight? The Chicago was good. I went to the place where Barack Obama used to love to go to. I did have breakfast there. It was good. It was good. I walked along Lake Michigan, which was gorgeous. It was freezing though. I went in like May of 2019. Melba's restaurant in Harlem remains open and continues to serve its renowned comfort food. Yankee says it, but what? That doesn't make sense. Did you get that from Google? Because the people that live in Harlem are saying that it's not open. What in the candy burst is going on? I know that's right. CF says Kempire only tussled for his billionaire and food. Marquis, I forgot to talk about that. Congratulations to Normani. Normani is engaged. Okay, I don't remember this guy's name because y'all know I don't know football. Please hold. Let me get his name because I don't know his name. Okay. And I know you guys will probably give it to me in the chat, but let me just pull it up here. She's engaged and she was introduced to this man through Sierra and Russell. Can you believe that? I was like, go ahead, girl. I love that. Hold on. Where is it? And he made the...
What's up, Stellar Nation? DK Metcalf here. Can't wait to put on the black and gold. And just once, shout out to my agent and mini agent, Grayson and Joe Kills, for helping me put all this together. Shout out to my beautiful fiance, man, for being here with me. But can't wait to step on the field, man, with the rest.
His beautiful fiance. That's how he announced the news. His beautiful fiance, Normani. Shout out to Normani. Okay, I love me some Normani. You guys are too hard on Normani. That girl is talented. Give her grace. I don't think it's over for Normani and her music, but I'm happy for her that she's found love. So shout out to our friends over at the Neighborhood Talk. NFL player DK Metcalf, that's his name. Is he related to Dr. Simone? Oh, wait. Reveals that him and Normani are engaged during his Steelers signing. My beautiful fiance. Mm-hmm. And Sierra introduced them. Sierra and Russell. Look, I'm gonna give him these 2 fingers. You better do right by our girl, Normani. Don't be embarrassing her out here in these streets. All right? Don't be out here embarrassing her in these streets. Look. And then Sierra posted on her socials in regards to introducing them. Where is that? I know I had that somewhere. Anyway, I can't find it, but it's okay. But yes, Sierra and Russell introduced them. Oh yes, and SD says he has a $130 million 5-year contract with the Steelers. And look, please understand, although the music for Normani hasn't been popping, Normani's not broke. Okay, Normani does quite well for herself too. Normani is just fine, but it doesn't hurt that she has someone that can hold his own and hold her up if she didn't want to work. All right. And Kempire get Sierra and Russell on a dating live. Oh my God. Imagine. You maybe one day. Why am I in the doctor's office watching Kempire? Why not? Why not? All right. Yeah, I love me some Normani. She's so talented. So talented and so sweet. Look, people love to be like, oh my God, her music career is... Oh, give the girl a moment. She was going through a lot personally as well with her family. She will be fine. Please understand. She is so talented. This album may have flopped, but the next one could be her big one. We just don't know. Cass says Ciara needs to set me up. Look, I mean, if they want to help me find my billionaire, I'm okay. Deborah says, I subscribe to their dating service. You know what? Yankee says, I just called Melba's restaurant and they said they're still open and don't understand who's saying this lies. Thank you, Yankee, for calling. So why are people saying that they're closed? And they don't know who's saying these lies. So, well, Yankee, thank you so much for calling. We appreciate it. I'm so glad we got a resolution to that. So Melba's in Harlem is saying that they're open. There's also a location in Grand Central Station just in case. Okay? Just in case. All right. All right. Any other questions before we go? Yes, thank you for the Melba update. Oh, Can't Be Bothered says, okay, girl, I've been walking by and it's been closed. What in the Candy Burst Tucker is going on? What in the Blaze and OLG is going on? Regardless, they have a new location in Grand Central Station for those that are coming to visit for New York, but still go to Harlem. Still go to Harlem. And if you go to Harlem, stop by Melba's, and if they're closed, report back. It's a scheme that Todd set up. But congratulations to Candy. Her new Broadway play that she's producing with Todd, it's starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Denzel Washington, had a Broadway history record-breaking opening week. So, well, it wasn't opening week. It was their pre-opening week. Miss Melba says, you need me out in the streets reporting in front of Melba's? Because then we're going to prove that they're open. Like, Melba's, can I get a free lunch? All right. Melba's isn't closed. Someone just announced they're having an event there soon. See? Okay. Maybe they were closed for a minute. Maybe they were doing renovations. Things happen. The restaurant business is not easy, but Melba's been open for years. They want Kempire doing a man on the street. Can you imagine? Not in New York. Lord, especially right now. Are you going to Candy's play? I would like to, because I did go to see The Wiz in their closing weekend, but it seemed like it might be hard to get tickets. You remember, Jake Gyllenhaal and Denzel are in it. And I like to play Othello. Thank you, Miss Cabby. Everyone loves my t-shirt. I got this from Walmart. When I was traveling, I got it from the Walmart. Because I always check, because that's where I got my other Dolly Parton shirt. I love me some Dolly Parton. She can do no wrong in my eyes. She always taking care of people. She just lost her husband. Love me some Dolly. I'm gonna post on my post tab here a picture of me in front of the Dolly mural, a recent one. Not the Walmart. The Walmart. I didn't see the piano lesson. Alma says, Wendy said on The View, get off my neck. Exactly, Angelique. Dolly P ain't never hurt nobody. I've been to Dollywood. I love me some Dolly Parton. All right, y'all. I think that's it. Thank you all for being here. If you haven't liked the video already, can we get to 400 likes? If you're part of the replay crew, be sure to like the video. Be sure to check out the description for your 10% off of our partnership with Butter. If you want to know a little bit more about the skincare that I'm using currently, that will be available in the description as well, along with everything else. And our mods are posting in the live chat the Apple subscription, or you can just go to your Apple app or to their website and subscribe to our new Apple subscription that we've launched called Club Kempire. I'm recapping The White Lotus. I dropped the Traders recap. I also talked about some Real Housewives of Beverly Hills tea in the latest episode. All right. Thank you all for being here. Thank you to our mods. Thank you to our channel members. We appreciate you guys. Thank you to our subscribers. And thank you to those of you watching in the bushes. Subscribe today. Don't miss out. All right. I will see you all in the next one. I probably will drop my traders video version of the episode that I dropped. I dropped that as a bonus to the bonus on our Club Kempire, but I probably will drop the video version on YouTube today at some point. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the season 3 finale of the Traders, I will be dropping that, and the reunion, I will be dropping that on YouTube. Okay, make sure you follow me everywhere, guys, from X to Instagram to Blue Sky to TikTok. Everything is The Kempire, and make sure you're subscribed here, and make sure you've liked the video. We're almost at 400 likes. Can we get to 400 likes? Thank you in advance. Maybe, maybe not, maybe. Cass says, yay, I wanted to hear your Traders recap so bad. Well, right now, if you don't want to wait until later today, I did post it on the Club Kempire podcast. And there's a free 3-day trial, Cass. There's a free 3-day trial that we just extended. Everyone have a wonderful day. Happy Friday. I'm going to go get ready. I got to go to Pilates and then get back to work. Look, then back to work. All right, y'all. Talk to you guys later. Bye. Yes, Angelique, we're going to give RHOA a chance. I've been saying that. We're going to give it a chance. I'm going to continue to recap it for now. I mean, anything is better than Roni, I'm hoping. Right? Right? Everyone have a fantastic weekend.